All right. So sometimes you
Um,
just start, you see where you get to, and sometimes you
yeah,
just need somebody to reel you back in.
yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the Starting Five. You're here with Mr. Brian and Mr. Corey, and yeah, we're gonna get into some topics today. Like the name says, Starting Five. So we're gonna talk about five topics, probably based a little bit about basketball, but maybe we'll touch on some stuff like maybe Trump. Mr.
Mhm.
Corey, how are you today?
I'm doing all right, Mr. Brian. How are you tonight?
I am well. I am very well. Just trying to live life. Hey, let's talk about some sports
It's a
at
big, big,
first.
big weekend, right? In the college world,
Yeah, isn't there? Yeah, there's some sort of like event going on, right?
there's something. It got a
What
little
we're in
crazy.
March. March.
Yeah.
What's in March?
It's March craziness.
Spring break.
Oh, spring break. That's
Oh,
true.
March Madness.
Oh,
Yes,
right,
let's talk
madness,
about
madness.
March Madness.
I thought it was craziness.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, first of all, if you live in Florida, it is craziness.
It
But
is, yeah.
we'll digress from that one.
That's a spring
We
break
can,
one.
yeah. So let's talk about March Madness a little bit. Who's who's your Cinderella? Hold on, actually,
Ah,
I
okay.
probably can answer this for you. You live in Jersey, so you guys are doing well.
There's been some good Jersey teams this year. Some good.
There has been.
Yeah. They've been showing up for us this year. No Seton Hall. Seton Hall would have been fun, but
They would have.
there's another school a little bit south of Seton Hall that
Okay.
usually does not get the best athletes necessarily, though they've had some good ones. I will say probably most famously forward for the Knicks, Bill Bradley. Some people might remember him.
Wow. I
Right?
believe he was a senator. Wasn't he a
He was
senator?
also a senator for New Jersey,
Yes, he was. Yes.
and his alma mater is Princeton.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they're
Oh, so
moving on to yeah.
hold on. Is that your Cinderella?
Princeton's going to be my Cinderella.
Wow. I like
They
it. I like it a lot.
yeah, they're going to
I
be a
I
tough team.
I would have figured you would have taken a team that was closer to your residence though,
It's actually right
because
around
there's
the
another
corner.
Jersey team that's doing big things.
They did something big on Friday night. They that Fairleigh Dickinson, my wife's alma mater.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay. There it is. There it is. It's out
she
there.
well, it's just where she got her master's. I guess that's an alma mater either way.
Well, listen,
She's
shout out
much
to your wife.
Shout out to my wife. She's much smarter than me. I can also say this
Listen,
confidently. She might not
I see.
hear this, so I can go with Princeton and not deal with that later.
I love it. I love it. No, but no, seriously, no. Shout out to your wife. I mean, her alma
hmm
mater, regardless of what degree she got from there, she obviously attended.
She attended.
Um, you like you said, she's smarter than you. Same way with my wife. My wife has
Yeah,
her whole doctorate. I said it
unbelievable.
like
People
with
that
the
can do that,
th.
unbelievable.
She has
Yeah,
a doctorate. I'm sorry,
yeah.
and yeah, I mean, yeah, generally the ones that hold down the fort are the
Mhm.
ones that are smarter than you.
Yeah.
But
Although
yeah, until
I'm gonna put this out there. I was watching some videos on the internet. My wife was sitting on the couch next to me, and she looks at me and she says, "Are you listening to yourself again?" And I said, "No. What are you talking about?" She was like, "You put your podcast on again." I'm like, "No." And I turned my phone around and it was Neil deGrasse Tyson. I was watching videos of Neil deGrasse Tyson, and then I thought
okay.
about it for a second, and she thought Neil deGrasse Tyson was you.
Oh
You
wow.
sound like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Okay. All right. I didn't. That's a first, to be honest.
You can
I
speak
have
on
not
yeah.
heard that. I really
Apparently, I
haven't
mean,
heard that
apparently
one.
I've listened to us talk so many times that she just assumed that it was, but it was actually Neil deGrasse Tyson. She confused you with Neil deGrasse Tyson, but
Okay.
I
I mean,
digress.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know if that's a I mean, I don't know if it's a compliment or if it's like
I mean,
just
we're talking about people with doctorates.
yeah, yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. No,
We're talking about
so
people with doctorates. I feel like
yeah.
if you told me you had a doctorate at this point, I'd have to believe you because you sound like someone who does,
I mean,
whatever
listen,
that means.
I feel like you sound a lot smarter than me because you're rocking with Princeton
I'm rocking with Princeton. I'm going to keep
and
it moving with
yeah,
Princeton. I think you look at that bracket, Creighton, Baylor. I don't think Princeton should be scared of either one of them. They just knocked off Arizona, who was hot coming off. I think they won the Pac-12.
I'm so shocked by that.
Yeah, it's a
Arizona,
mm-hmm.
big time, and
Yeah,
they have been big time.
they have been big time.
You
Lot of
know.
lot of lot of good players came through
Oh
there.
my God! Oh, listen, the list goes on and
Right.
on and on. They got coaches now. Like I mean, former players that are coaches.
Yeah, yeah. One of the smartest basketball players we talked about him last time, Gilbert Arenas,
Yeah, yeah,
Arizona.
yep,
Richard Jefferson, Miles Simon,
yeah.
all
Again,
coached by Lute Olson, who was a great coach.
oh my God! And hopefully I'm saying this. Didn't he pass away?
I think he did pass away.
Yeah. So rest in
Yeah.
peace. But he
Rest in
was a
peace.
great
Rest in
coach.
peace.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about. He put a lot of players on the map. So you're going with Princeton as your Cinderella.
Yeah. Princeton's my Cinderella. They're a little bit of an older team. I think they have a couple seniors, so they played together for a while. I value guys that know what the other guy's going to do. When you know what the other guy's going to do on the court, it makes it pretty hard for some of these schools with the one and done type players.
Okay. Okay. I believe this is like the first time in the Sweet 16,
Yeah,
or I
I
believe
think
so.
only one other Ivy League team has made it this far. I want to say
Yeah.
it was Cornell, but I don't remember when.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe this is
Yeah.
their first time. My thing is this: I have a Cinderella, and then I have like a Cinderella sister, if that makes sense. So
like an evil sister.
yeah, like an evil
Yeah,
sister.
evil sister.
So I'm looking at.
Like an
I'm
evil
telling.
stepsister.
I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna stay in Jersey with you,
Okay,
and
all right.
I'm FDU.
FDU.
Man, I love them. I love them,
That's a fun story.
and they're playing like I think their next game is against FAU, which is a Florida team, Florida
So
Atlantic.
you're gonna keep it with Jersey over Florida.
I am. Because I'm from up north.
I like it.
That's
You
what
are
I
from
do.
over
You know,
there. Right. I
so
like it.
but so if FDU loses though, then I'm bouncing back to Xavier. But
Xavier.
they're not a Cinderella because they're I believe they're ranked like third or fourth in the in their division or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my two teams: Xavier and FDU.
Do you want to talk about that FDU Purdue game for a second? Like, how did that
I
happen?
mean,
How does a team with nobody over 6'6" beat the presumptive player of the year, who's
listen,
7'4"?
I did my research because I figured you would ask me a question about that, and they have a 7'4" center.
Yeah, yeah.
He's probably going to be a lottery pick, if not this year, maybe next year. Solid player. I forget his name. But yeah,
He had a good game.
that squad.
Zach something.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not really that worried about him. You know what I mean? I'm not
He's
clout.
7'4".
I'm not clout chasing. Is that what they say? Clout chasing.
Cloud chasing Zach Edey. Zach
Yeah,
Edey, 7'4". Yeah, you're not chasing
yeah.
the clout. I
But
mean, 7'4", you can't teach height. People are gonna
they
want him on their team.
listen. Their FDU their average height is 6'7".
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
watching
almost
all
a
these
foot
other
difference.
games, right? I'm watching, and since I spoke about Xavier and how they're like my team that I project to win. So Xavier has this dude named Nunji or something like that.
Nunji.
Yeah, he moves,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't say that the same for the 7'4" guy from Purdue. Like Nunji
Yeah.
might be, I don't know, maybe 6'10", 6'11", but he moves. He he walks and talks and like moves like a big man.
Yeah,
You know,
he's a 7-footer. They got him listed at 7 foot.
do they have him listed at 7 foot? Okay, I thought he
Yeah,
was like 6'10", 6. You know how they
pretty
always
close. Yeah,
embellish.
embellish a little bit. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So I look at the dude from Purdue and I'm like, not a fan.
No,
No.
I mean it's a shame he's not going to get another chance in this tournament to show you how good he was this season. Apparently,
yeah, which is true. I mean, but hey, he could walk on. He could walk, and when I say walk on into the NBA. Maybe
NBA,
gets a G League maybe a 2-way contract,
yeah,
something like that.
I mean, he was 21 and 15 in the game that they lost. They didn't lose because of him.
They didn't, but
he didn't carry that team.
No, and he should have. You're 7'4".
Yeah. Right. You need a basket. You should be able to drop the ball into him.
Yeah,
you should have no
literally drop the ball in the bucket.
Yeah. Right. He should be able in a game like that. If you're not hitting your outside shots, maybe he needs to go for 30, 35,
which
instead
is correct.
Of 21.
Yeah, that's correct. Let me ask you this. If we transition more so back to what we normally talk about, the NBA, what's going on with the Warriors?
I told you that I don't trust the Warriors. They can't win on the road. Jordan Poole's play has been inconsistent at best. And I forget who they played, but they pretty much lost because of him.
I believe it was the Grizzlies.
Was it they just lost to the Grizzlies yesterday?
Yes, like last night's game, I believe it was the Grizzlies.
I
want to say they lost by like 19, 20 points or something.
Yeah, they got blown out. No, they lost to the Hawks.
They're playing a Grizzlies team without the infamous. That's what I'm gonna call him now. The infamous.
The infamous.
Yeah, the infamous.
He came off the bench, played 24 minutes against the Hawks the night before, 2 nights before they lost, and he scored 12 points in 24 minutes.
Okay.
Curry's doing everything right now. Clay's doing a little bit of everything right now.
Yeah, Clay's doing his thing.
But it's his inconsistencies. That was on the road. Last night they played again on the road, and let's see what Jordan Poole put up 21 points in 30 minutes. That's a little bit better of a game.
Yeah.
Not enough against a team that's missing their best player on the road. I don't trust the Warriors on the road. I don't think they can beat a team that's as good or better or close to them.
The biggest I'm going to say right now, from the last year's championship winning team, they're missing a key component, and that's Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, Andrew Wiggins and your other guy.
No one knows what's going on with Andrew Wiggins.
No.
And I'm telling you right now,
no one's talking about it either.
Yeah, and then no one's talking about it, which is, I'm glad that they're keeping his personal situation, I guess, personal.
Right.
But if they want to advance and move on and maybe win another, like a back-to-back, they need him and they need GP2.
Yeah.
I'm putting it out there right now. So I'm hoping GP2 is like, just working out, like strengthening, getting himself in the, because apparently he had an injury.
Yeah, it was an oblique or an abdominal or.
Yeah,
like
I'm hoping that, again, he's getting himself strong. Like, he's getting himself ready for the playoff run,
Right.
Because he already knows how to play with Curry, Clay, Draymond, And that's another thing. Draymond needs to get his head on, correctly.
But he just picked up his 16th technical, too, I believe.
Yeah, didn't he throw a ball at Russell Westbrook or something?
Is that what happened? They played the Clippers?
Yeah, I think he threw the ball in his face or something. I'm like, Draymond, what? Do you just not like everybody else?
And you got to think about his reputation. He's got to think about his reputation.
To be honest, you would think Draymond played for like the Giants
Right.
or the Packers.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. He, yeah, I've always liked Draymond's game. I think he has to play with like 110% on every single play because he's a little bit undersized for the position that he plays. He doesn't have the same talent as a lot of guys out there. So when he plays with that fire, that's what gives him the ability to affect the game the way he can. But it's like
Yeah.
a fine line between
Uh,
that and you
I
got to be
like
out there also.
I really want to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why is because Draymond to me is like, to be honest, and this might sound a little weird, but he's like a teddy bear out there. To be honest, he's not really he's not a. I don't think he's one of those that you fear when you play against him. And he can disagree with me if he hears this podcast. He can certainly disagree with me.
I'm going
But
to disagree
he's
with you. I'm not going to say people fear him necessarily, but he's their emotional leader on the court. He's the guy that keeps people in check verbally.
yeah. I
He's the reason
mean,
why Durant wanted out of there. He's the reason
well, the
why.
thing is,
He,
I can agree with you that he has emotions.
yeah.
I call a lot of people Carl Thomas because he has a song called "Emotional," and then anytime someone says like something and I disagree or I feel like they're
Mm-hmm.
just in their feelings, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, that guy's Carl Thomas right now. They're emotional.
Right.
That is Draymond Green.
That is
Draymond
Draymond
Green
Green.
is, to me,
Mm-hmm.
he is not like. To be honest, I would give it to Curry or to Clay in terms of like those guys getting hyped and getting you in the game, if that makes sense. I just think
So
Draymond just gets like in his feelings
he might
and
get
then
in
he
his
does
feelings.
stuff and then like whenever he does something or however he reacts,
Yeah.
it's always a detriment to the Warriors.
I
You know?
wouldn't say detriment. I think when he plays within himself, then he is the motor that keeps that team going. He's the guy that keeps everybody in check. Curry and Clay are more lead by examples type of people, and Draymond's the type of guy that gets in your face and says you can't keep. That's why he hit Jordan Poole in the face
Yeah,
because
but no, but that's what I'm saying.
that's
The
who he
thing
is
is
for
I
that
look at
team.
it like that's not really a good look
Might
because
not be a good look, but it doesn't mean it's not a necessary component of that championship team.
okay, all right. I mean,
I'm,
you
I'm
can
gonna,
think what you
yeah.
think,
I think
and
you
I'm
needed
gonna
all
think what I
three of those
think.
guys. I think he chased
No,
Kevin
you
Durant
no,
out.
you definitely do need all three of those guys.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
saying that,
Right.
but I'm saying that I feel like Draymond sometimes is
Mm-hmm.
he's a little off kilter. You know?
Here's a good example. Here's a good comparison, I think, and not necessarily for the way they play, but the way their careers went. Is that Draymond is in the perfect organization for who he needed to be able to play in the NBA, and DeMarcus Cousins is the other side of that. He was never in the right spot. He didn't have the right organization around him.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
Cousins becomes the cancer in the locker room, and Draymond becomes the emotional leader of that team.
yeah, okay, I'll give you
And
that one.
if you put Draymond in the wrong spot, he'd be out of the NBA by now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Uh, I okay. All right. I'll give you that.
Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
like,
No, I'll give you. I'll give
I
it to
like I don't think Draymond is the most talented player in the NBA. I think that he plays with such a fire that and he's trusted enough in that organization to get in someone's face, generally speaking. He just has a little bit of that Dennis Rodman in him where that line is now blurred. He doesn't know where that line ends anymore. Or at times, maybe at times he
you.
doesn't.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I can give you that. Like I said,
Hmm.
I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah, that's just how I've always viewed it. And
So
yeah,
I made a mention earlier about how I feel like Draymond could be a football player.
Draymond could be.
Why don't we transition a little bit and talk about some NFL?
Yeah.
We could
What
talk
you got for
about.
the NFL?
Oh man, there's a few things I could talk about.
Hmm.
I texted you the other day about how Aaron Rodgers wanted to play with Odell Beckham.
Sure does.
I'm upset about it because I want Odell to go back to my New York Giants, my New York Football
Yeah.
Giants, who also just signed my man Waller
Mm-hmm.
from the Raiders, and he is a talent.
One of the best tight ends in the league.
One of the best high. However, it's this. You might laugh at this. So I'm on a group chat with my fantasy buddies,
Mm-hmm.
and we're talking like just preparing for the next season, yada yada. And I'm like, oh wow. And a lot of the guys, believe it or not, a lot of the guys in my fantasy squad, they're New York Giants fans. So I'm like, oh man, we just signed Waller. I'm like, that's a great pickup. Who's gonna throw the ball to him? This
I
is
am gonna laugh
literally what
at
I
that.
said because I'm so upset with us giving. I don't even know what he's called now, Danny Dimes or Danny whatever.
Just Mr.
I'm
Jones.
just gonna call him Mr. Jones. Yeah, I'm gonna call him Mr. Jones. We gave him all this money, and he really hasn't shown me anything.
No.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm doing the most or saying the most, but I'm not a fan.
No.
I literally said it in the conversation. I said, looks like Waller's going to be doing a lot of run blocking for Saquon because we're not throwing him the ball.
I will say that the Giants have Daboll is a good coach.
Amazing.
I agree with you on Mr. Jones. I'm not sold on him as a quarterback that is really going to excel in the league. I think that the coach had put him in a good spot to look good last year, and if Saquon stays healthy, with now Waller, I think one of the best plays they ran was a play action and a rollout, and then just dumping it off and getting the ball into somebody's hands, and that's usually the tight end. You put the ball in Waller's hand now, and let him make something happen in open space after catching the ball with like a head of steam. It could be really interesting. It's not going to be Daniel Jones that gets him there.
He could remind you of remember Mr. Jeremy Shockley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy was a little bit crazy though.
Yeah, no, but you know what? Waller's he's like a composed crazy, if that makes sense.
Right. So it could be they could have an interesting offense next year. With those guys.
Actually, I'm going to throw a nugget in here. Mm-hmm. We picked up Paris Campbell.
Oh, it's somebody who's always flirted with being a good player in this league.
He was a monster, and I believe he's from down here. Did he go to Miami or?
That's a good question. I don't know much about Paris Campbell.
But he was at I believe he's on the he was on the Colts. Obviously now he's at Giants.
Was he?
But he was a highly touted receiver.
Was he on the Eagles last year? He was a highly touted. I think he was on the Eagles last year.
Okay.
No. I think he was still in Indianapolis last year. Yeah, okay. There was another Indianapolis receiver ended up in with the Eagles last year. I don't remember.
And we gave Darius Slayton a contract, like a 2-year contract.
I like Slayton.
I mean, I like Slayton certain weeks, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Slayton's the type of guy that he's not going to be a Pro Bowl type wide receiver, but he's a Giant. He should always be on the Giants.
Yeah, he's gonna be. You know what? You know what he kind of reminds me of, like moving forward, and if he stays on the Giants for a while, he reminds me of well dressed.
Well dressed.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Was salsa dancing?
No, not that guy. I'm talking about well dressed. Amani Toomer.
Oh, Amani Toomer. Right.
He reminds me of that guy. He's going to be just a solid receiver if he stays there and he does his career and does his thing. That's who I envision him following in the footsteps, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can see that. I was thinking he was like that guy that like Victor Cruz that just came out of nowhere.
No,
he just doesn't stay as healthy as he's not as healthy as Victor. He's been hurt too much.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's not that guy. He's gonna be like I said, a Monty Summer. He's gonna be well
Monty Summer.
dressed.
All
You
right.
know,
All right.
he's gonna just get
Comparison.
some good numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if Paris Campbell, I believe it's Paris Campbell. Hopefully, I'm saying his name correctly.
Yeah.
But if he comes in,
Mm-hmm.
does his thing, you got Darren Waller doing his thing. You got Saquon running the ball. And then you got Mr. Jones. As long as he could just throw the
Yeah.
ball like just a couple yards, just to get it
It
to
all
somebody.
hinges on Barkley. If Barkley's
Yeah,
healthy,
no,
they're going to be
yeah.
able to do a lot.
Listen, they will do tremendous things.
Yeah. Let's go back
Tremendous
to
things.
Odell Beckham, or
Oh man.
from Odell Beckham. Let's transition back to the Jets and
Ugh.
Aaron Rodgers.
Ugh.
And
That's I've been hearing so much.
yeah.
I'm not even in the inner circuit, but Aaron Rodgers wants Odell to come play
Yeah.
with him.
Right.
That could be filthy.
That could
Because
be
the Jets
filthy.
actually have a good team, and they're
Well,
bringing in
that's
Aaron Rodgers and possibly Odell.
right.
Oh boy,
I would like to see Odell Beckham be successful in this league again. I'm big fan of Odell Beckham. Um,
you're a big fan. Oh,
Huge
I'm a
fan of
huge
Odell
fan.
Beckham. Unbelievable what that guy was able to do with the Giants. Um, I know that the Cowboys just made a trade for somebody, Brandon Cooks. So they are now out
Yeah,
on
I heard
Odell
about
Beckham.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're now out on
Cowboys.
Odell Beckham.
First of all, the Cowboys let go of Ezekiel. Like, what are you
Yeah,
doing? Like,
he's over the hill. He's
I don't,
28 running
I
back.
don't think he's over the hill. Like, you're gonna keep Tony Pollard over Ezekiel Elliott?
If you
Hmm.
listen to what other players say about Tony Pollard, he's the guy that everybody was scared of on that team. When you're going up against the Cowboys, it was Tony Pollard that the other guys that the other team was watching out for.
I
He's
disagree.
electric. When he gets the ball in his hands, he's electric. And
Yeah, I disagree.
Ezekiel Elliott
Like,
is plotting.
I'm gonna give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think they were saying the same stuff about uh, um, Mr. Emmett Smith when he was balling?
When he went to Arizona,
Well, no.
that he was
When he
pretty
went to
much
Arizona,
done.
it was like what? He was like 20 years deep in his career.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ezekiel Elliott is on that level now.
Ezekiel Elliott's been in the league for like 7 years. No,
He's not holding up. He's not holding up. Not even 7, maybe 6.
yeah, yeah. I want to say 2015, so maybe 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
But like, what do you mean he's not holding up?
He looks
He's in a bad
slow.
organization.
He
Think
looks
about the
slow with the
Cowboys
ball in his field.
organization. The
Yeah.
Cowboys organization average an 8-8 record literally every year. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, they might have won however many games they did last year, but they ain't doing shit. They haven't
No,
done shit. They
because
haven't
they
done
kept
shit
giving us.
since Michael Irvin.
They might have done. They might have been able to do something if they didn't keep giving Ezekiel Elliott the ball last year.
See, I'm just saying. I think that's a bad. Well, we'll see. I
We'll
want to
see.
see who picks him up. You
He might
know, and I
have
want
a
to see
season
how he
left in
does
him,
next year.
but he's slow. He's plotting. He's not the guy he was coming out
Yeah,
of Ohio
but
State.
I mean, you're
He's not the
talking
guy he was
about.
early in his career.
Yeah, but you're
He's
talking about a franchise guy.
mhm,
Ezekiel is a franchise guy.
yeah. And he got his franchise season last year, and now Tony Pollard is the guy. He's
Okay.
electric with the ball in his hands.
Okay. All right.
He just has to be able to
Tony
hold up.
Pollard will be out. He'll be out of the league in like 2 years, bro.
He
I
could be.
promise you.
Running backs don't last more than that.
No, yeah, no. I believe the
But he might
average
have 2 good
is.
years.
I honestly I believe the average is like 4 years for a running back.
Tony Pollard is going to have a better season than Ezekiel Elliott next year,
Okay. All right.
barring injury.
How
We could
much
put
do you?
we could put some friendly wagers on that.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, no, I want to.
Yeah.
Well, it all
Uh,
depends. If
yeah.
Ezekiel doesn't get picked up, then obviously Tony Pollard will have a better season.
Barring injury, and given that Zeke plays, I think Tony Pollard has the better season.
Okay. So what?
Let's see. This
What?
is bet number one.
Yeah,
on the starting
this is
five.
bet number one. So yeah, but this is the first bet on the starting five.
Yeah,
Where would you
we got to
like
talk about
to treat me
what
to
are.
dinner?
Yeah, we can do a dinner.
Oh, and you're gonna have to fly down.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're gonna
But if I
treat me
win,
to
you're coming
dinner.
up here.
Well, no, that's fine. You know,
Okay. All
I
right.
might send a representative.
All right. Send a representative.
No, I'll come up. Listen, if I
Yeah.
lose the bet, I'll come
Right.
up. That's not a problem.
Middle of winter.
Yeah, that's fine. I still have North Faces in my closet, so we can do this. And I got
Hopefully they still got
Timberlands.
some insulation.
Yeah,
Hopefully they still got some
and
insulation in them.
I got brand new Timberlands in this hot ass weather. So
Well, yeah.
no, let's go back to it.
Okay. All right.
So if Tony Pollard has a well, obviously it's based on Ezekiel getting picked up by another team.
Right.
Whoever
Right.
has the better year, so you're
Provided
going
they
with
play.
Tony Pollard.
How many games do they have to play?
I would say a minimum of what do they have, 17
Say
week
17.
season now?
Should we say at least half? Say 9?
No, I want to go with 12.
12 games played. All right.
12.
So 12 games played.
Yeah. And then whoever's numbers are better after 12 games.
After 12 games. So at least 12 games.
Yeah, at least 12 games. After
this
that,
written
it
down.
becomes null and void.
Yeah. Right. All right. At least 12 games. Tony Pollard will have the better season than Zeke.
Okay. And I already know the place down here.
Man, I want to play. How do I get into your fantasy leagues?
Because
I'm taking Tony Pollard everywhere, and I'm taking Zeke. No, I'm taking Zeke nowhere.
Don't worry, I can put you up with all my fellows that are in fantasy. If you're really trying to get down, it gets pretty intense. I'll tell you that much.
Does it? All right.
Yeah, because it'll be like a Tuesday, after Monday Night Football, and they're like, yeah, you lost.
Yeah.
Like I did this, and I'm just like, all right, I can't even talk.
Your team is trash. You drafted Zeke Elliott.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, listen, you might want to just what is it, Cash App or Zelle? You might want to just send me the money right now if you don't want to come down.
What year is it? We don't have Venmo in Florida yet.
Well, they might have. I just don't use that stuff.
No,
I'm just telling you to give me the money up front.
All right.
Or I could just give you my account number and you could just drop it in my account if you don't want to actually come down to treat me.
We'll see. We could probably work something out. We'll figure it out.
Listen, the way these banks are working, we're gonna have to figure something out.
That's true. These banks are falling left and right. Credit Suisse got bought today.
Yeah, you said they got bought out?
Yeah, by a Swiss bank.
Okay. Yeah, I heard some rumblings with Credit Suisse recently, literally in the last day or two.
Well, they haven't been so reliable over the last few years. People really haven't had a lot of confidence in them, but they acknowledged some kind of material weakness this week, and they got bought out by, I'll tell you in a second, UBS. Yeah, UBS bought them out, which is one of the bigger Swiss banks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm somewhat familiar with UBS. I have a close friend that works there, or I'm not sure if she still works there, but she worked there for a while.
Yeah.
So they're huge bank. So
yeah, huge bank, and so they just bought out Credit Suisse after the material weakness was acknowledged.
Okay.
That comes on the heels of the Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. A lot going on there.
Okay.
I don't know how much you know about it, but they would do banking with a lot of startup type companies, like venture capitalist type stuff.
Yep.
Which is really 100% risky. But they had these 30-year government bonds that were great when interest rates were low, and then once interest rates started rising, they didn't have a backup plan. So they sold. They had 21 million in bonds that they sold for $19 billion. So that was about a 5% loss, I guess. That $2 billion, which isn't that good.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
depositors panicked, started pulling their money, and they didn't have the money. Um, that comes on years of their CEO lobbying Congress to change the Dodd-Frank Act. So
Okay.
they did not have FDIC.
They weren't insured.
Yeah, yeah. So they were allowed to do a lot of things that generally banks aren't supposed to be doing under that
Okay.
Dodd-Frank Act, which was the backstop after the 2008
Yep. Yep.
crisis.
Yep. Familiar with that.
Yeah, yeah. So they changed. They lobbied. They got that rule changed. They went back to doing some crazy stuff with people's money, and it backfired. Interest rates rose. They sold their stakes. Everybody pulls their money. Now the government steps back in to backstop those deposits, which sounds terrible. Um, I don't think the money is coming from the American taxpayer, which is a little bit more of a relief. So it's not us bankrolling these millionaires or whoever they are like it was in 2008.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. See, this is where I believe, and this is another time I'm going to disagree with you.
yeah,
It's not that I have an insider tip. Don't call
yeah.
me what's her name? The girl that chills with Snoop.
Martha Stewart.
Martha. Yeah, Martha.
I got a fun story about Martha Stewart.
I'm
Well,
gonna tell you
by my
this.
father and Martha Stewart.
You're saying that it's not gonna be us. Yes, it
Mm-hmm.
will be us.
I think it will be us.
Unless you're independently wealthy,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, get ready to pay out of your ass. It's gonna be. It's not gonna be like obviously. How can I say it? It's not gonna be. You're not gonna get hit with it like getting hit with a baseball bat in your head, but
Right.
it's gonna be. You're gonna be like, wow, this loaf of bread costs $3.49. It was $2.99 last week.
Yeah, it's
It's
been
gonna
going
be
on anyway.
a slow transition to you really getting, and it's just crazy,
Yeah.
you know.
Well. The bank is the Silicon Valley Bank isn't that big in the sense that it should affect a
I know
grocery
what you're
store.
saying,
Mm-hmm.
but look at like literally in about 18 to 21 days, you have three pretty big banks that are just, oh yeah, no, we're folding.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of people lost money. So,
Yeah, a lot of people lost money,
and
um, but the deposits that were in that bank weren't um, their money. It was payroll deposits and stuff like that. So what the government is backstopping is money that is really supposed to go to general workers. It's not the people that had stakes in that bank, they lost a lot of money.
okay,
But
but let me ask you
I mean,
this: when the bank,
you're not going to be able to stop people from raising prices, but that's been happening anyway. I mean, look at
but
eggs.
yeah, no, no, of course, yeah, that's obviously that's
Mm,
I mean, that's another
yeah,
somewhat of a secondary issue. But
yeah, right.
again, you're saying people are losing like payroll and such and so forth.
Well,
So
they
the
didn't
money
lose their
that's
payroll.
being withdrawn,
Hmm.
because if you think about it, the bank really doesn't hold the money. It's all like based
No,
on bonds and things of that nature.
right.
So when these people withdraw the money and they don't have enough money to give back to their members or whatever,
Hmm. Yeah.
where do you get the rest of the money from?
Well, so this is now coming from other banks because
Yeah,
if this were to
exactly.
crash, yeah. So if this were to crash, then it's not. It would be a domino effect and would affect the bigger banks like J.P. Morgan, something like that, right?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
J.P. Morgan is depositing 30 million or 30 billion or some stupid number that doesn't make sense when you think about money into some of these other banks so that they can cover these things.
Yeah.
It's in the best interest for that bank to do that. And that's where the money is going to come from to backstop certain accounts. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, no. I mean,
Yeah.
listen.
Hmm.
I've done my little bit of research and I
Yeah.
understand how it works,
Hmm.
but I don't
You
think
don't trust it.
it's the right way to do it because it's gonna
So,
circumvent itself into
mhm,
another. Like I dealt with that whole '08 recession. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah. Yeah.
I like I knew what that felt like, but I didn't
Hmm.
know to
Hmm.
now. Obviously, I'm a lot. I guess I would say smarter is the word I'm going to
Hmm.
use.
Savvy.
Um, it's just like if we have to go through, and we didn't even. This is different. There weren't
Yeah.
banks folding. It was like
Uh,
corporations that were folding. The government was like, "Oh, we're going to give you like 17 million or whatever the number was to help you out."
well, it
But
was
now
too big
you,
to fail. It was banks.
yeah. But it was just weird. It's just like,
2008 was people were overextended on mortgages, and
yeah,
and
yeah. I
and
know.
the, so
I believe
the
is
banks
it
were the ones that got
Wells
screwed.
Fargo had a
Wells Fargo.
they had a huge like yes
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. So, well, what should the government let the depositors in the Silicon Valley Bank go broke?
Um.
Like, what would the solution be?
Well, no. First of all, the problem is the government. To me, I've said this to like family, friends. The government is like a nosy ass neighbor. If
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense.
100%.
So the government wants to be involved with everything going on when they don't need to be involved with certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand politics to a certain point where,
Mm-hmm.
okay, all right, you want to help out this country if they're battling with this country. Okay. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because you know what? Maybe we have a vested amount in their oil or their gold, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is.
Right.
But we get involved with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the amount of money that has been shelled out to like Ukraine or whatever for this? Like,
Mm-hmm.
why, what, like, who has? And pardon my French, but who literally has our balls in a vice grip where we have to shell out so much money, and it's like it's a continued thing. You're
Mm-hmm.
shelling out so much money to Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
How about your own people?
So, should we let Ukraine fall to Russia?
I mean, should you also let your people in America suffer?
No, not saying that.
You
I
know,
don't think.
that
I don't
that's
think
the
it's.
way.
But I
You
don't think
know,
it's one or the other.
I think it. To be honest, I believe it kind of is. You know, I mean, certain people might disagree with me, and that's
Yeah,
fine.
I don't think it needs to be one or the other. I think those are two separate conversations.
I just
Um,
feel like we're spending a lot of money
mhm,
not at home.
mhm.
Like we're trying. It's like it seems like we're trying to like it's like a monopoly. Like it's a game. You know, where
Well,
like we're just.
then why should the government not back stop the depositors at Silicon Valley Bank?
Ah, man. I mean, and that's to be honest,
Hmm.
I may somewhat. This is I'm reluctant to say it. Agree with.
Well, I think you talked yourself
I
into agreeing with it
I know. It's like yeah,
by saying that
because you know
you
it's
need
a
to take care of your people. Yeah, yeah.
it's a homegrown thing. You know,
Right.
I'm
Let's end on a lighter note.
okay.
Let's
All right.
pivot back to college basketball.
Okay.
I know you like Xavier. I know you're
I do.
excited for the FDU game tonight.
I listen. That game is going to be amazing.
What teams do you think are going to get there with Xavier? So you got that Houston bracket,
Yeah,
and you
I
got
mean,
Xavier. You like Xavier coming out of
I'm
that
gonna
bracket.
tell you this. I not that I'm not a fan, but I know they're gonna be there.
Yeah,
Is Alabama,
Alabama. Yeah,
and but it's just so much chaos with them, and
and
I don't want to
injuries. Brandon Miller's
sound
injured.
Yeah, he is. He has like a groin or something going
Yeah,
on,
it's a
right?
groin injury. He does.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm a fan. Yeah, the kid, he gets buckets.
Yeah.
He gets buckets. I
And they've got an
mean,
easier path. They've got an easier path with Arizona now and
oh,
Virginia out.
yeah. Like think of
Right.
yeah. That's what I mean. Like
Right.
I know Alabama's going to be in the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
You
So you
know,
got Alabama, you got Xavier.
but it's like should I root for them because of all the
Hype surrounding them, or
not hype
off
because you can't say hype. The
off court
off,
issues.
yes, yeah.
I'd
Like
like to
it's
keep the
like
two set. Yeah.
I feel bad. Like I honestly feel like I shouldn't root for them, but I want
Yeah.
to.
I want to say I don't know enough about that story to
Oh,
say that.
you want me to tell you real quick?
I don't know enough about it to say that I shouldn't root for them because of it. But
Listen,
if you can
one of the
sway me,
kids that was on the
persuade me.
team that shot and killed this other person
Mm-hmm.
got the gun from Brandon Miller.
Somebody. Right.
So
Right.
that's literally the story.
Yeah.
But again,
But did he get him the gun with that intention?
and that's
Or
another
did he get
thing.
him
You
that
know,
gun and
that's
then it happened
why.
later? And that's why I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I'm just like, damn,
Yeah.
I want to
Right.
root because I like him. He's a tough kid, tough player.
Yeah.
But then again, is he? I mean, like,
Right.
is he like, is he a nice guy? You know?
You're right. He might not be a nice guy. That's
Yeah,
fair.
you know.
That's
So
fair.
I don't know. I don't know.
Right.
You know.
So we
I'm
got
not the
Alabama.
judge, not the
Yeah.
jury.
Not yet. You could be on that jury.
Yeah, but
That's a different state.
I do have Alabama. I have Alabama. And
Yeah.
to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
I want FAU to do some shit.
Yeah. Hey, you know
I
what?
do.
That's the number one seed is gone from that as we know. The
Yeah.
number two seed is gone from that as we know. Kentucky and Duke are now out of that.
Yeah, it's crazy. All your familiars are
Yeah.
gone. You know.
We got Michigan State still there. You got Tom Izzo.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
I
a
just
little over
yeah.
Michigan State.
Yeah. They're a 7 seed this year, but it's just it's a familiar coach.
All right, if you had
yeah.
so like I said, like you said, you wanted to end it on a positive
Yeah.
note. Who you picking? If you
I picked Alabama before the tournament started. I'm not changing my dark horse. I got Gonzaga.
you can't go wrong with the Zags.
Yeah. I think they're flying under the radar. They got it. They're still a really good team. They only lost 5 times this year. You know, and maybe they're figuring things out. They have the best offense in America.
They normally do.
Yeah. So I got Alabama as my favorite, but I think the Zags got a shot. That's my number 3 seed.
Okay.
But I am looking forward to Houston playing Xavier. That would be a fun game.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm going with Xavier.
Yeah. Xavier looks good.
Out of nowhere, I'm going with Xavier.
Yeah.
I love their team dynamic.
Yeah.
That's my squad. That's who I'm rocking with.
You
know.
You want to tie it all back together to something earlier?
No, not really.
No. You know who Xavier's coach is?
I do.
Yeah. You know where he coached a couple years ago?
I do.
Yeah. That would be our tie it together moment if you wanted to say it.
I mean, if you want to bring it up, I do know.
He left in controversy.
Did it? Was it controversy?
There was a controversy there, I believe.
You talking about Sean Miller, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Because he played at Pitt. They played Pitt today.
They played Pitt today, yeah.
Yeah, he played at Pitt.
They did play Pitt today, yeah.
You know, he was on what's that guy? Like before Jay Leno, the
Carson, Johnny Carson.
Yes, yeah, he was on. He was like on that night show or whatever.
Yeah, dribbling a basketball, right?
Yeah.
He left. He left under some controversy. He left Arizona under some controversy.
I'm trying to. Do I remember the controversy? I'm trying to think now.
Yeah.
Because I know who. I know who the coach is. Yeah, I'm trying to think. What was the controversy?
His recruiting methods came under scrutiny. 10 people were arrested as part of federal corruption investigation into basketball. He didn't face any sanctions, but
Hold
he
on,
says he never.
weren't there some big coach names?
Uh,
I mean relevant people,
like the
because
guys at
I
Iona
believe
now.
I know this controversy.
Yeah, was Patino part of this one?
You're asking me. I was asking you for the names.
I believe Rick Pitino was part
Because
of this one, but he's still coaching. He's at Iona.
yeah,
I think he just took
Patino's
another
Iona.
job. Where's he? He just got
Then
hired by
Iona just
somebody
lost
else.
yesterday, right?
Iona just lost, and I think Patino's already gone somewhere else.
Of course.
Maybe.
I
I don't know. I'm
believe
not
I
saying
may
anything.
know a little bit about that. I don't know much about it, so I don't want to speak on it. I don't want to put
Yeah.
anybody's name out there crazy, but
Right.
I believe
Right.
I do know a little bit about it.
Patino's coming back
I'll
to New
do my
York.
research.
Yeah, Patino's coming back to New York. He's going to St. John's.
I heard about that because the St. John's coach got fired.
Right.
Yeah. You know who got fired? Patrick Ewing from
Oh, did Georgetown?
yeah.
That's too bad. He was waiting to coach for so long. He wanted to
Yeah.
coach for so long.
Yeah, he had like a horrible, like his last couple of
Yeah.
years were horrible.
Yeah,
I
he
think they
had
won
like
like
one good
7
game.
games. First of all, I
Yeah.
don't know. He made some sort of tournament and he won like 7 games. I'm like, how is that even possible?
Right. Name recognition.
Yeah, I'm like, that's just terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like we've
Wrap it up there.
exhausted the airwaves. So I think we should end on this note. I'm going with Xavier. You're going with Alabama.
Yeah.
Both A teams. We're gonna see how the NBA does this week because it's winding down.
It is.
And we're gonna talk soon because we're gonna have a lot to talk about this week. So
There could be a lot of whining coming out of your state this week.
Yeah. So we'll get back together. Get the fans more involved this week, and let's do this.
All right.
All right,
Wrap it
Corey.
up here. All right.
All right.
That was a pleasure.
It always a pleasure.